Hello YouTube, it's Borders Dude, and yes, I'm back with a video review. Now today I'm taking a look at the recently re-released Maketoys MTRM06 Contact Shot, aka Masterpiece Point Blank. This is a mould that's quite old now in terms of third party. Is it worth picking up now you can get it at a reasonable price? Let's take a look at the figure and find out, shall we? Starting off, as always, with the alt mode, and Contact Shot's alt mode is delightful. It's a lovely, bright, vibrant red, futuristic sports car, and you can tell it's a sports car because it has that flame deco at the side there. Yes, it's a very minor tampo that's been added, very minimalistic, but it's there, and I really appreciate that Maketoys did take the time to add that tampo, homaging back to his Generation 1 figure. One thing I always look at when it comes to the alt modes is how the wheels vary, and these wheels are done lovely. I love the blue outer rim with the silver hubcaps inside, and the tyres are rubber, which is becoming even a limited feature these days in some third-party companies, so it's nice that that was included. Future issues notwithstanding. The front of the car has that wonderful, almost Knight Rider-esque silhouette, which has been done very nice. I love how they've taken the headlights and gave them just another burgundy, almost red. You've got a little yellow light in there that you can just see. Just little paint touches that have been done on this are very nice. And speaking of the paint, you've got some additional details there in the silver and at the back of the alt mode as well. The paint, when it's been used, has been applied very nicely. I don't really see any QC issues on my paint applications at all, which I'm really glad for. And for a figure of this scale and also this price point, you would expect a fair amount of QC and care going into little details like the paint application. The only negative thing I can say about this alt mode, and in particular this, in my experience with Maketoys anyway, carries across to their Headmaster Chrome Dome and also their combiners, is while the wheels do roll, they don't roll that well. Now that could just be how I've transformed the figure, but I don't think so. I think this is just quite a common trait with at least earlier Maketoys releases, which of course, if you remember, this mould is not the end of the world. This will look stunning in alt mode on display in your Transformers collection if you choose to display it as such. The other thing about alt mode that is very cool with this figure is the driver's cockpit. You've got this nice clear yellow plastic and the steering wheel just in there that you can see, and I think that was a really nice touch for them to add that in. That also works as a way to secure the Target Master when it's pressed down, because if not, the Target Master would just wobble everywhere. So really practical and nice addition to the figure. Before we do get to Contact Shot's robot mode, I wanted to take a look at his Target Master, his version of Pinpointer, and these have always been a bit wonky, although this one is really cool. I quite like him. I love how they've painted the visor and his face. Really nice touch, and you can see his little hand is there. It's almost reminiscent of the original Target Masters, which is quite nice. He's got loads of detail going on, no paint applications apart from the aforementioned face, but he doesn't need any other paint applications because, let's be honest, apart from him being in the driver's seat and being in his gun alt mode, you probably won't display him singly. And just for fun, let's bring in the Legacy Target Master. Same size, and oddly enough, the Legacy Target Master has more paint application on it, but next to none articulation. Here is Contact Shot in his robot mode. The transformation from alt mode to robot mode and also back again is not as complex as you'd think from a Maketoys figure. It's actually surprisingly fun. There's a touch of fiddliness in some places, but overall, looking back at other Maketoys figures where transformations have been horrendous, such as their Chrome Dome, and especially their Technobots version of Nose Cone was horrible. But if they continue to engineer transformations like they have with Contact Shot, especially for their upcoming highbrow, it definitely makes me more confident in picking up some of their future releases. Now, you'll notice the robot mode is from the Japanese continuity rather than the US version. However, you do get the alternate head crest, which is just there, and that also does come with an additional headpiece, as well as a shouty one. So you can mix and match. You can mix and match how you want the headpieces to be it the head crest and the face. The stoic face, he also does have a shouty face as well. Speaking of the head on mine is a little loose, so you can see there how it just pops off a bit easier than I would like it to, but it gives us a better look at the head design itself. What you're meant to do is there's a little gap there that you plug in the face and then you plug the head on. At least that's the way I do it, and I find more success without the head coming off. And there he is with his US continuity head crest and face. I don't know which one I like best. I do like the anime flair, but this obviously has the nostalgia factor for this figure, so I'm torn, but it's nice to have those options. So let's have an overall look at the robot mode itself. This is where the paint detail comes into its own and really helps break up that magnificent red that you get on the figure with the lovely silver and red accents to it. The crotch piece there is definitely a lot better than the Legacy version, but again we're looking at two different scales of collectability. But the overall design I really like. Sculpted detail in the arms, in the legs, you know, it's all there and it's a wonderful representation of this character. The back itself does clean up rather well. There's very little kibble there at all on the figure, which is really nice. You can see sometimes the tabs do come out, but easy popped back in. But nice clean robot mode silhouette. I really like the engineering on this figure and the design. Let's bring the camera in a bit closer to take a look at his articulation. Now the head can do a full 360, but we do have to watch that head crest because it can pop off as well as the face quite easily. Because of transformation, the head is on this little swivel, which can give an additional set of articulation. The shoulder pads are again articulated because of transformation, but it gives you options to do some better posing, make him more like his G1 counterpart. And you can move them back as well out the way, which is handy because we can then get a full look at his arm articulation, which is a full 360 on a butterfly joint, and go in and out. You get a bicep cut, you get a really high bend at the elbow, there is a wrist swivel, the fingers are all joined together, but they do come out to allow you to hold the target master. There is a waist swivel. Not the best, but it's there, and of course you can see we do get an ab crunch. When it comes to the legs, if we flip up his crotch piece at each side, you get these legs on wonderful, lovely ratchets. Soft ratchet going that way, hard ratchet going that way. You get a thigh cut, you get a reasonable bend at the knee, really reasonable, and there is some limited toe articulation, and that's due to transformation on the figure. There are probably some other additional details when it comes to the posing and posability of the figure, but there's a lot here. The only thing that is really missing is a proper ankle tilt on this guy. Other than that, you've pretty much got all your bases covered. For accessories with Contact Shot, you do get 3, although technically it's 2. So you get his shield here, which just snaps on, hopefully nice and easy, using this little port into the tab there, which is a nice cool accessory. You get this part, which is a cover for the front of Pinpointer's target mode. Now you can see, just looking at it, you don't necessarily need that, but his gun barrel just tends to go a bit wonky. So by popping this on, it gives you a more aesthetically pleasing looking target master. And that will just, when I focus, that will just pop into his hand through a little sliding groove there. Pop it in, close it up, and there we are for the accessories. I do love how the accessories, when he's in alt mode, do have a place to store, target master being the driver, and the gun barrel that pops onto the shield when he's in alt mode is a nice touch and a clever way to integrate the weapons into the alt mode itself. Before we go on to the final thoughts, let's once again bring in the legacy version of Point Blank. Now again, two different sides of the collector spectrum, or two different sizes either way, but these are your current modern options at the moment. Depending on what you collect, I don't think you can go wrong with either or. My final thoughts on MTRM-06 Contact Shot by Maketoys. It's a lovely figure. The red on this figure is the first thing that drew my eye to it, and it just pops and it brings out all the sculpted detail on the red plastic, such as on the legs, on the feet, and it's just lovely and vibrant and works very well with this very ugly blue colour. Now, it worked very well back in the Generation 1 days, so why it wouldn't work on this modern version is besides the point, and it works bloody well. I love all the sculpted detail on the figure. The articulation on the figure is plentiful, sans the ankle tilt, but that's not the end of the world. I love the fact that you can switch between the Japanese and US continuity head sculpt with the corresponding face plates. The target master is brilliant and fun to fiddle with and transform back and forth. The robot mode to alt mode transformation and back again is equally as fun, with a touch fiddly bits in between the transformation, but nothing that takes away your enjoyment that it did for me when it came to Chrome Dome and also their nose cone, which I have mentioned earlier in the video. I recommend picking this up. Now, it has been said that this is not an official release from Maketoys. In fact, Maketoys have stated that this version of the figure has came from the factory that has the molds and they've just reissued it. Whether that puts you off owning the figure or not, you can pick up an official release on the aftermarket. However, it will cost you quite a lot. And like many, I'm just not in the position to be paying those 200 plus aftermarket prices. The figure is good, but it's not as good as those aftermarket prices reflect. This is a figure I definitely recommend you pick up, and you can pick up from various places such as Show Z, and also Primetime Toys in the UK do have this as well if you're in the UK and you don't want to do the importing and waiting a bit longer for the figure. Worth picking up, will have a nice place in my collection. Recommended. Thank you very much for watching this video. Now, the figure wasn't going to go or stay on the turntable as I usually do with my closing statements. In fact, it fell off. You'll see a wee outtake at the end of this video, or in a short, I've not decided yet. So until next time, I will see you soon with another review, and thank you once again for watching.